Hello, it's me. I'm in my car and I'm trying to get some reasonable lighting so I look somewhat normal. Okay, I guess that's okay. Hi. Welcome. It's time for my town hall campaign update. And I am Susan Maud Buchser-Lochocki, a presidential candidate for the 2024 election. I have not conceded the election because there's a lot of fraud in the system, and I don't accept that. And one of my first things on my list to do is election reform, because we cannot have a country if we've got illegal people in office. So we need to have a new election as soon as possible, one with integrity, done in a traditional way, where you take a pen and you write down who you want to be president and who you want for other positions, and it starts there. Pen to paper, and then we count it by hand, and then we have a result. No computers involved, nothing like that, because this is where all the fraud is. As soon as you start having fake lists, like the registering to vote list, and then you also have computers, you just have so many ways to fake names and cheat and not count things, and that's exactly what's happening. As you know, my vote was not counted, and many others were not counted also in this past election, and it's unacceptable. But anyways, welcome. I am Susan Buchser, for short. Now, I'm not happy with the lighting, so I'm going to try to find a better way. The problem is with doing this live, they only allow me portrait portrait not horizontal, which horizontal would be ideal. So anyway, give me another second or two. As you can tell, I'm on the road, so it's kind of, I'm trying not to look like a like a monster movie. So anyway, we're getting there. Wait, I think I got it now. All right, that's all right. Do I need that? Does that help at all? Not really. Or does it? Maybe it does. I guess it does. We'll leave it like that. Okay, so it's nighttime here. I am in Switzerland, and it's, daytime for you. So I don't know, anybody have anything that they want to talk about? As far as my lawsuit, it is still pending with the Supreme Court. And I will be doing another one if nothing happens with this, because we cannot go on with all this corruption. And it begins with a proper election. Then, we need to move forward with paying mothers. And we also need to move forward with apprenticeship programs, especially with the tariffs that have been, suggested and being placed. We need to get our people trained to handle the different tasks that will be needed in the new future. And I think people are quite negative on these tariffs, but I think they are long overdue. And, this global society that we once had, it's not healthy. It's not healthy for our people, because our people have lost many skills that we once had, many trades we once had. We lost them to overseas because they were cheaper. It was cheaper to get it done there. we have to think a little bit. Is cheaper better, or is quality better? And who and what is the United States? Are we a country that has to go and beat around the, get around the corners in different ways and try to get everything at the lowest price? Or do we start looking for quality? And my USA is a quality USA. I want to bring back trade jobs. I want local people doing local things and buying from them and supporting them so that everybody can have a nice life. We've only got one life, and we want to have a nice life. And so if we give the people the tools they need to do that, then we're going to have a lot of happy people. So it's really important to do that, to give people the things they need. And skills are one of them. Hi, Sammy. Hey, Sharif. Let's see. Okay, I can't seem to add you, Sharif. Sorry, I guess my internet here is not, well, it's all right. Oh, maybe, I don't know if I can get out of this. No, I don't think so. Okay, yeah, it could be that I still have my other program on. Okay, so, anyway, we definitely need to train people and move more local. And I think that's the best way to go forward. Outsourcing jobs to other countries because their people don't need to earn the same salary as U.S. citizens is, maybe it was an answer once for our businesses. But it doesn't suit us in the long run, and it doesn't help ultimately the people in the other land, wherever they are, either. Because then you've got a pocket full of people who can do certain jobs, but there's no infrastructure around that for them. And, we're moving into the robot age, too, where a lot of things will be outsourced to robots. So it's time for all countries to really focus on their people, to give them the skills they need to build a little town, a little community. And it starts with a village, with a little town, and then it expands from there. And I don't just say this for the USA, I say that all countries need to focus on their people. Because, we are so close to firing ourselves, we're so close to having only robots, and soon the robots will train themselves and then they'll get rid of us. So I think we better tread safely and carefully here in this new era of robots and, I don't know what you want to call it, hybrid people, combination robot-human. We're stepping definitely into a place we're not ready to go. And we don't even treat each other nicely. So, what's going to happen when we add robots? And this is not what I want for my fellow citizens, especially also even my fellow world citizens. I want us all to have a good future, hand in hand with robots, but humanity is my thing, and we need to help humanity to move forward in a good direction. So apprenticeships for all in high school. starting with like 15, 16, 17. You go for an apprenticeship somewhere, whether you're working at a bank or in a hospital, or you're working at the library, or you're working on a construction site, and you learn basic skills. And you go like 3 to 4 days a week working, where you actually earn a little salary even. And then 1 or 2 or 3 days a week, depending on the year and depending on what needs to be known, you'll have classroom time, where you learn the specifics of your job that you're going to be going for. And that way you'll learn the math you need, you'll learn the language you need, you'll learn the technical applications of different things, and a few other extra things, I think language is important, so maybe learning a second language. And music is important too. And then, so we'll keep some of that stuff, or creativity is important, so we'll keep that going. But you won't have to learn a lot of extra things that maybe you might not need right now. I mean, you'll know that they're there. So, if you want to pick up that Shakespeare book and read it, you can anyways. But you don't have to do it if your major is not English, history. So you can do that in your own leisure time. So that, and then your senior year in high school will then be changed to a Constitution year, where you will spend a year learning about your country and about your rights. And then you'll take finally the oath and promise to defend and protect the United States as a citizen. Now, if you're not a citizen, then you don't have to do that. But you can still do the Constitution year. And, I mean, you can still say the promise, but I think you want to be a citizen first. So, anyway, this is my education plan, Apprenticeships for All. There's plenty of time to go to university later. You don't need to fast track it. You don't need any of that. And some people don't need further education for a certain amount of time. What I'd like to do is also make sure that everybody stays up on top of things that go with their career choice. So there will be, the opportunity to go for at least 2 weeks to learn something that has to do with your field that you're in. Whether it's, a new paint type has come out, or a new glue, or a new cement, or, my lights might be dying. It's this one. Maybe. Okay, yeah. Or, there might be some new medical information, a new way to take blood pressure or oxygen levels. So, I want you to keep up to date with your career choice, and or if you want to change careers, so that, you have the skills you need to be a professional, basically. And that comes later, once you've done your first apprenticeship. Then you go on to maybe some further schooling and expand your career into specialties, or you can just stay doing whatever you're doing. So that's one part. Then the other part is that we need to bring mothers back home. We've seen what taking mothers out of the home has done to our children and their upbringing, and I don't think it's working. The family unit has fallen apart, and in our current system, there's no relief in sight. And mothers are even way too busy to even think of asking for help. So that's why I'm here, because I know I was a mother, and I know how tough it can be. So it is time to support our mothers and give them the tools they need. And so that means, a salary and benefits, of course, health care and education and training, because, none of us know how to be a mother. It's something we have to learn a little bit how, and then sometimes we need help in guidance in an area, and we have questions, and families are no longer living all together usually in one place, so it's sort of your mother there to answer your questions if you have any, for guidance for being a mother, or a big sister, or an aunt, or a grandma, or whomever your trusted person is in your life. So we need to pay mothers, and it's a living salary. Motherhood will be seen as a career choice, and you mothers will be expected to keep your kids safe. You no longer have to stay attached to an abusive husband or boyfriend. You can leave if you have to, or you can ask them to leave. It could be that it's your house anyways, and they need to go, but only you can know that. As we know, everybody is different, and some men can really step up to the plate and be good fathers and good husbands, but other ones cannot. And sadly, currently in our current situation, women get trapped into these bad marriages and they can't get out because they don't have the money to get out, and they don't have the support system to get out. So that has to change. A mother should be able to stand all on her own, whether the man is there or not, whether he's being nice or not. And that will also help men to be better, because they no longer can abuse, because they will lose their power over the woman, over the wife, the mother. And so they're going to have to behave. And ultimately, it will be a good thing for men as well to separate, really, motherhood as a career and fatherhood as a career. Now, fatherhood as a career is going to look more like men should still work, at another career choice or job, whatever you want to call it. But one day a week, I want you to take an extra day, not on a Saturday or Sunday, but on any other day a week, and you spend time with your children. Whether it's, just to help them with homework and spend time being stay-at-home dad for a day, or whether you take them out for a day of fishing, or out to the ballpark, or go to the movies or the mall, or whatever the case may be. Or maybe you just watch movies together, for a day. I don't know. Or maybe you play a game like Monopoly or Risk or Scrabble. So, but I want fathers to be around and present and spending time with their children, because children need to see what a father is like too. And again, I know some men have totally had different childhoods where they might not even know how to be a dad. So there will be some training involved, and you also get paid for it. So that's sort of like a second job, or actually that's the first job, being a father. And then the second job is whatever your career choice is. And then there's also being a husband, perhaps, if things went in that way. For me, I am a traditionalist, so two people joining and becoming a family is certainly normal, I think. A male, female, or even two men or two women. I certainly would be open to these concepts. But then I have to admit that it's not 100% necessary that way either. I know life, and I know sometimes life happens differently for different people. So children need parents, and there usually is one father and one mother. And so, it should be possible. And I think that with these two changes, the apprenticeships and parents, mothers being home, I think we'll see a real difference in not only our new citizens coming up, but the general welfare, the general happiness of the towns and the cities and the states, of the people, I think will be greater. And we can slowly move to a more local environment where, we're buying groceries from a little town shop where, maybe even your kids help to grow some of them and bring farming and stuff back to the neighborhood so that kids can participate. I think we should also sort of leave space open for every town to do it a little bit however they want, but there are certain criteria that will be in place that will be needed. And mothers right now are just doing so much, and it's not fair to them. It's not fair to their kids, because also the kids are going to eventually be our neighbors, and we're not giving them the best opportunity at the future. So things are going to be changing quite a bit. This is in my platform, and we need this change. It's time. Yeah. What else do I want to say? I don't know. We have so much potential, and we're not living up to it. And I don't like that. I never have. When I see potential wasted, it drives me crazy. So I want us all to succeed. And it begins with the home, and it begins with education and the young people. So this is a little bit the plan for my platform. But as you know, it starts with election reform, because we can't even move forward until we have a valid election. Yeah. All right. So I think on that note, I'm going to finish for tonight. I don't know if you know, but I was in a car accident a couple of days ago with a deer, and I'm still sort of recovering from that. It's the weekend, so, I have to wait and find out how bad the damage is with the vehicle. But we'll see. I'm doing okay. I got a few bruises, I got some on my arms and my legs. And I guess Nissan makes good airbags for women, for shorter people, because it got me right in the right spots where it was like I didn't know anything happened. There was no whiplash, nothing. I was just held in place. So, Nissan, thank you very much for that. I have a few aches and pains, but a few bruises, but mostly not from you. It's I had keys that got to my arm, and the safety belt did give me a little bruise on my hip. But in general, your products didn't really mark me up much, so thank you. And it's my first time ever being in a crash that revolved around a airbag being deployed, so that was quite an experience. I was not realizing anything happened, and I don't really know where the deer came from. It was just suddenly there, and it was pretty powerful enough to stop me. So, yeah, it was a bit crazy. And then right after the accident, I had tickets to fly here, so I'm here now in Switzerland, and so I'm jet lagged too. So it's, I'm very tired at the moment, and I need to go rest. But I am recovering, and that's the important thing. The car is also recovering, I suppose. Sadly, the deer is not recovering. And I think it was a she, so, I feel sorry. She's not looking good, but I'm grateful no one else was injured, or no thing else was injured. That makes me at least feel okay. And yeah, just be careful, drive always with your wits about you. And I will say, driving here in Switzerland, again, the roads are nice, and the paint is clearly painted, so you can see it, so you know where you're supposed to be. And I just don't know why this is so difficult to do in West Virginia and many other states. Can we not have paint stay on the road? Can we not have smooth roads without potholes? Maybe people have to come to other countries, get some training, and bring that information back. Maybe that's part of the problem. We've just stayed in the USA, and we think we know what we're doing, but we don't. And sometimes to leave and learn something new and come back and bring it back and watch it work is the best medicine. So we might also be, with the apprenticeship programs, doing something like that too, like an internship abroad for a period of time or something like that. We'll have to see how it works. But, if we don't have roads, we don't have anything. So, and the roads in West Virginia are pretty bad. It's really it's a new sport to dodge the potholes. And here, they don't really have potholes. You have to really go looking for them. And the other thing that they don't have is a lot of lights on. It's not like Las Vegas everywhere. And therefore, you can actually see the markings on the street. And then here, too, I think a lot of people actually go and have their light bulbs put in by a professional here. And so they're angled downward, not upward into the driver's eyes that's driving at you, so that the person coming in your direction can actually see, because the lights are pointing down instead of up or straight. And because people are putting lights in all by themselves nowadays in the US, the lights are being put in wrong. They're supposed to point downward. They're not supposed to point out, and they're not supposed to point up. I don't know when this all started, but we got to correct that, because we can see at night. Just not with all the lights on. So we can have some lights on, but we don't have to have all of them on. And we can do some repairs ourselves, but, we need to be shown how on automobiles. Because I'm sure people can put their lights in, pointing them downward, so that you don't blind the people coming at you. But people don't seem to know how to do that just right at the moment. So here, this is one of the Swiss buses. There it is. They're still running tonight, picking people up, going to the train station. Public transportation is also on the list, but we have enough to talk about first with these other things. All right, so that is my town hall and campaign update for today. What else can I say? That's it. So my name is Susan Maud Buchser-Lochocki, or Susan Buchser for short, and my website is susan4usa.com. That's Susan, the number 4, USA.com. If you want to find out more about my lawsuit and about my new election plan, go have a look. All right. I wish you a nice day wherever you are. Bye for now.